of the Earth. Without further ado, let's continue.
As we enter the science of geology, let's first define what is geology. By definition, geology is the science of the Earth, its composition and structure, its history, and its past plant and animal life. The word geology is derived from the Greek word geo, means earth, and logos is course. It was used in its present meaning at least as early as 1605 by Aldrovandus, and it is further divided into a number of branches according to: first, the subject matter covered, or second, its industrial or commercial applications.
Geology developed as a science in 1667 through the work of Nicholas Steno. But its widespread study began about a century later. It became a popular science in Europe and America during the first half of the 19th century. Now then, let's move on to the facts of the Earth.
Shape of the Earth. The Earth is a geoid, attraction ellipsoid, nearly spherical but slightly flattened at the poles. The diameter from pole to pole is about 27 miles, less than the average distance through the equator, which has two unequal axes.
Size of the Earth. The Earth has a polar diameter about 7,900 miles and at a equatorial diameter of about 7,927 miles. Its circumference around the equator is approximately 24,900 miles. The area of the Earth's surface is about 197 million square miles, of which about 71% is covered by ocean. The volume of Earth is a little more than 250 billion cubic miles.
The Earth moves in a number of directions at the same time. It rotates on an axis which extended through the poles, and the duration of one rotation, which is relative to the Sun, has become one basic measurement of time. The solar day, the velocity of rotation at the equator is about 1,037 miles per hour. At the poles, it is of course zero.
Interior structure of the Earth. The contents are made up mostly of silica and aluminum rocks, and somewhat lighter than the rocks of the ocean floor, which are made up mainly of silica and magnesium. The rocks are making up mantle are thought to be heavier silicate rock containing iron and magnesium. The layer of the rock in the topmost part of the upper of mantle are red, forming what is called the lithosphere. The rock underneath in the layer, called it the atmosphere, are plastic and can float, and the astrosphere extend down the depth of about 418 miles. The only part of the Earth we can reach directly is the crust. This is the hard outer layer, which form the land of regions, our continents, and the floor of the oceans. They have found the interior is made up of the number of layers of varying thicknesses. Under the hard crust comes a thick layer called the mantle, and beneath that an outer and inner core. The continental crust is thickest, average about 25 miles. This is compared with an average thicknesses of only about 6 miles. For the oceanic crust, these two areas of crust also have different composition.
Corresponding to the three states of matter, solid, liquid, and gas, constitute the globe we known as the Earth. The solid central zone is the lithosphere, cradled in the oceans, bases, and the hydrosphere, surrounding them both in the gaseous envelope and the atmosphere. The boundaries between the three zones are not perfectly sharp. There is some mingling of air and water, of air and rock, of water and rock. The next one is the lithosphere.
Lithosphere. The nature of the lithosphere, the earth crust and interior will be discussed in chapter 3. Here we shall then mention some important process entailing features of the lithosphere.
Hydrosphere. Hydrosphere water containing absorbed air and carrying particles of rock as sediments surrounds the earth. Most of it lies within the ocean basins. Atmosphere. The envelope of air that embraces our planet contains absorbed water and small quantities of rock as dust, which may act as centers for the condensation of water vapor as clouds or fog. The chief component, 78% of the atmosphere, is nitrogen, but this gas is almost inert, as are the very small amount of argon, neon, helium, krypton, xenon, and other rare gases.
Did you know? The total circumference around the Earth is measured 40,030 kilometers. How did we know? Over 2,000 years earlier, in the ancient Greece, a man calculated the circumference of the Earth by using a stick. His name is Eratosthenes. He is a Greek mathematician in Alexandria. He heard that in Syene, shadows doesn't cast at the same time, unlike in Alexandria. So he conducted an investigation and planted the stick in the ground to see if the shadows will be casted. After a few moments later, it turns out it has, and it measures 7.2 degrees. His conclusion regarding to this matter is that the Earth is curved. Pythagoras also believed that the Earth is curved, and it was validated by Aristotle himself. Eratosthenes used his observation to measure the circumference of the planet, which is 7.2 degrees. A 7.2 degrees is equivalent to 5,000 stadia, or 800 kilometers. In formulation of getting the circumference, 7.2 degrees is equals to 1 over 50. 50 multiplied to 800 is equals to 40,000 kilometers. And that's how Eratosthenes measured the entire planet.